Good morning, Kayden. Just wanted to get some background from you. What ultimately kind of went into your decision, one, to enter the portal, and two, for FSU to be the place for you to continue your career?
I think just my ultimate decision was opportunity. Being able to go to a place where I could strive and be the best me. And talking with Coach Atkins, I felt like this was the right place for that.
So we Irish FL from Warchant.
I guess, how would you describe Coach Atkins and the way he spoke to you, and what were some of the selling points from him about Florida State?
He was like the most real coach. I think that's the simplest way to put it. Going through the recruiting process when I was younger, kind of get flooded with all the stuff that coaches would say, but going through it a second time with my experience and everything, I thought that he was the most truthful coach. He had a vision for me, short-term, long-term, and we just talked it out, and I gave him my goals and he gave me his goals, and so we just rolled with it.
Next will be Brendan Seminoles from Noles 247.
Hey, Kayden, welcome to Tallahassee. Curious, during the recruiting process, you visited, I believe, during the season. I can't remember if it was October or November, committed a little bit later on. At what point during that process did you realize that Florida State was ultimately a school that you wanted to go to?
After my visit, watching the Miami game, gotten to be able to come around and talk with the players, meet with Coach Atkins in person. That kind of set it off for me to really have him be a big contender. And then as the weeks went on, just meeting with Coach Atkins, watching film, and just really getting to know him as a person, as a coach, and just knowing the program. I'm doing some research myself as well. And so that kind of ultimately, about 2 weeks after the visit, is when I ultimately knew that I wanted to come here.
Next will be Matt Marshall from the Orlando Sentinel.
Hey, Kayden, welcome. I wondered, you talked about that portal process. What was it like for you, and was it a smooth process, or was it kind of a challenge for you at all?
Going into it, I didn't really know what to expect with the new rules with the portal. It was kind of a little hectic. A lot of kids entering, very few getting picked up. So at first, I was a little weary about it, but when I entered, it kind of just jumped off really well. I had a lot of schools contact me. It was like recruiting back in high school. So about a day or so into it, I knew that I was in a good spot, that somebody was going to be able to take me and be able to accomplish my dreams.
Next we'll go to Carter from Tallahassee Democrat.
Hi, Kayden. In high school, you obviously transferred from Arizona to Wisconsin, moved to different states, moved across the country. I'm wondering kind of what lessons you may have learned from that experience that you might carry on through this experience.
My whole life I've been moving around a lot. One of the questions that people always ask me is like, where are you from? Can't really claim a place. And so just my whole life experience, I've been able to gain different perspectives on the areas that I lived. And so going 3 years at Scottsdale and then moving back to Madison and being able to experience that transfer was really interesting. Got to gain a lot of perspective on how to handle coming into a new place at a older age. So that really helped me being able to come here and adapt well here.
Next we'll go back to Brendan Seminoles from Noles 247.
You mentioned a little earlier that opportunity was a big reason why you picked Florida State. Can you kind of expound on what that opportunity means to you? What kind of impact you would like to make here at your time at Florida State?
I would like to make a big impact. Being able to just showcase who I am and who I truly am on and off the field. Wisconsin was a great place, and I got to be able to put a lot of stuff on film, but things didn't really go the way that I wanted to leaving there. And so coming here, I just felt like I'll be able to build off of what I previously built at Wisconsin, being able to have an opportunity to just get to my ultimate ability.
Next, we'll go back to Irish FL from Warchant.
When we were reading up on you, we saw where you actually stepped in a defensive end early in your career at Wisconsin, I guess out of a need. What was that like? And had you played much defense before?
Yeah. So high school in Arizona, I was a two-way player, played both D-line as well as offensive line pretty evenly. But going into Wisconsin, I was going to be an offensive lineman, but they just had a few too many injuries. And so after my first year, they asked me to move the D-line. You know, I just wanted to be able to help out the team as much as possible and do anything to be able to help. And so getting on the field as a defensive lineman was that opportunity at that time. I gained a lot of perspective from it, you know, as at that level, being a defensive lineman, you get to really know what the D-line is doing to the offensive line. You know what their scheme is, you know what they're trying to accomplish. And so I got that firsthand experience. And so when I was able to move to offensive line, I got to utilize what I learned from defensive line to transfer that over to offensive line.
Next will be Ferrante from the Osceola.
Hey, Kayden, good morning. I'm curious, in your conversation with Coach Atkins, do you plan on being center strictly, doing some guard, doing some cross training? What's kind of your thoughts there?
The initial conversation is center. And so I think that's what's going to be the opportunity here, is to be a center. Just out of my own personal take, like I feel most comfortable at center. So just knowing like the knowledge, being able to be a leader of the whole line, and then as well as a team, I feel like I could be able to build that here.
We'll go back to Matt Marshall from the Orlando Sentinel.
Kayden, you said you did a little bit of homework, but what did you know about Florida State as a program and its history? What kind of stood out to you about it and made it an attractive option for you?
That regardless of what happened more recently, that they're Florida State at the end of the day. Like, they're a blue blood. They're a team that's won national championships, won one recently within the past 10 years. You know, they have that tradition. They have that vision, and they've accomplished that recently. And so just doing research with the coaches that have came in and knowing that their vision and everything, I think that we can accomplish that here.
All right, next will be Aslan Hajavani from Warchant.
Hey, Kayden, we're just kind of curious, what do you think are the sort of philosophical foundational differences between what you had in Madison, what you have in Tallahassee, and how much different do you feel you are, and how much will you be changed this season in Tallahassee?
Can you just elaborate on that a little bit more?
Were there certain lessons you learned playing and dealing with whatever you had to deal with in Madison? You think that's going to make you a better player now that you're in a new sort of surrounding and setting? And is there a different feel maybe from the coaching staff that you have here in Tallahassee that makes you feel you'll be maximized?
Yeah, you know, playing Big Ten football as an offensive lineman has really helped me gain a lot of skill as an offensive lineman, and being able to come here and being able to help the guys out around me and utilizing my ability to help teach them that. And then just the coaching style. You know, I think every school has different coaches, and it's just up to me to be able to adapt to it. I do feel like the coaches here are on the right track. They know what they want to do. They know that with the vision that they have and everything. So that is what I'm on board with.
We'll go back to Brendan from Noles 247.
That was a good crack. I heard it. When we were speaking to Coach Atkins a couple of weeks ago, he mentioned that you made it a point to reach out to some of the younger guys, specifically Maurice Smith, and kind of start building that relationship. And I guess ultimately, why was that important? Why is that important for you to spend that time getting to know some younger guys you may be competing against for playing time?
I think it's just important to be able to just build that bond You know, they always say that the O-line is 5 as 1. And so we all need to be on the same page. So regardless of who I'm talking to as an O-lineman, you need to build that bond. And coming here with my experience that I've gained, and, you know, this being my last year here, you know, I want to be able to build a lot of good bonds with people, friendships, relationships, everything, to be able to have them trust me and learn from me. So then when we go on the field, there's no question that the ability that we have to be able to compete.
All right, we'll go back to Ira for Warchant.
Aside from the beard game, I think you and Dylan probably have some shared experiences. Dylan, you know, playing in the Midwest or that part of the country, and coming in as a transfer. What's your relationship been like with him so far?
Really good. As I was going through the recruiting process, I talked with Dylan just to get some perspective of what it's like to transfer from a place like Notre Dame to a place like Florida State. And so, you know, he really gave me his truthful opinion on it, and it's what sold me to be able to come here. And so, you know, we've been creating a really good bond together as going through the recruiting process, and as well as now that I'm here.
We'll go back to Ira.
I know one thing that Dylan has kind of brought to this team. I think there's a feeling he's brought some toughness and maybe an edge on the field. How much does an offensive line need to play with that kind of edge?
I think it's really important. I think any player needs to be able to play with an edge. I think that's what sets them apart, to be a player. What you do better than somebody else, that's what the definition of an edge is to me. And so I just want to be able to build off of that, of what Dylan has brought here, and be able to also show that I have the same ability and be able to coach and teach the players around me the same thing.
We'll go back to Aslan for Warchant.
Kayden, you mentioned kind of your nomadic lifestyle, if you will. The fact that you have had so many different experiences, does it make it easier to kind of make friends and get settled in at a new place? And then playing center, just I guess how important is it for you to be able to ingratiate yourself to your teammates, because that is such an important kind of leadership position on a football team?
Yeah, I think this my experience is being able to adapt to different personalities, different areas of life and everything has helped a lot. And so coming in here, I built a lot of great friendships already with a lot of players. Just walking in, you know, they welcome me with open arms. And so I love them for that. And then, you know, being a center, being able to have that ability to build friendships and everything is important. Being able to have people trust me. So.
Go back to Matt from the Orlando Sentinel.
Along those lines, I wanted to ask you about your relationship with Jordan Travis. What has stood out to you, maybe having conversations with him?
So far, haven't really had that many conversations with him. We got to be able to get on the field and snap together, and I got to be able to be around him during one of their throwing sessions and everything. And, you know, I think we're off to a strong start right away. Just our communication, what I want to bring to the team, what he has brought to the team. I think we're off to a really good start with that.
All right, that's it. Thank you, Kayden.
Yeah.
Recording stopped.